Assalamu alaikum class, it is Sister Mariam coming with your weekly video. This week and next week, we will be covering cytology, which is the study of cells. We have a lot of information to study under this topic. That's why I had to split it up into 2 weeks. This video is for this week, and of course, there will be another video for next week. So, cytology is the fundamental unit of life. When we're dealing with cells, we're talking about that fundamental unit. The study of cells, cell biology, also known as cellular biology or cytology, is a branch of biology that focuses on the study of cells, which are the basic structural and functional units of all living organisms, not just us. Cell biology encompasses the examination of cellular structure, function, reproduction, communication, and the processes that occur within cells, including metabolism and genetics. Now, let me say this. You all know, and I'm just going to remind you, make sure you're taking some good notes. And this video will be uploaded into Jupiter Ed. So will the slides without the actual recording so that you can study them accordingly. So you all know when you're taking notes, you don't have to write everything that you see on the screen. You're just writing the information that I'm adding to what's already on the screen. And then you can use the slides later to write down additional notes or highlight or however you like. All right, let's move right along, diving right into the study of cells. So, fundamental units of life, that's what the cells are, all of our cells. Remember, when we talked about living organisms, we start off as a cell before we become tissues. Well, we start off as an atom. But once we reach the cellular level, cells come together and then form tissue. So, which is the study of histology, and we will get there the week after next. So, right now we're dealing with what do we look like before we actually begin to form tissues, and then how tissues will form organs, and organs form the organism, or the organ systems rather, which forms the organism. So, fundamental units of life. Cells are the fundamental building blocks of life. They are the smallest units of life capable of carrying out all the processes necessary for an organism to function. So, when it says they are the smallest units of life, that means in order for something to be classified as a living organism, it has to have at least one cell. One cell will classify it as a living organism. By studying cells, we gain insight into the fundamental components of life itself. You all will absolutely see what those words mean as we are studying the cells. Understanding organisms. Cell biology helps us to understand how organisms are structured and how they function at the cellular level. It provides insight into how different cell types contribute to the overall structure and function of tissues, organs and organ systems, and multicellular organisms. Disease and health. Many diseases, including cancer, genetic disorders, and infections, have their roots in cellular abnormalities or dysfunctions. You all will see what that means as we start to study diseases when we go into the different systems of the body. Cell biology research helps identify the cases of these diseases and can lead to the development of treatments and therapies. Evolutionary insights. Cell biology can shed light on the evolution of the life that is on Earth. By comparing the cellular structures and processes of different organisms, scientists can trace the evolutionary relationships among species and understand how cellular adaptations have driven the diversification of life. I want you all to think about that because as we go into the different studies of how this body works, I want you all to have your scientist caps on. I want you all to be thinking about possibly how we have evolved, and you all will see how we have evolved as a species. And I'm not talking about from the ape or monkey to a human being. No. What I mean is our bodies are being perfected under the perfected God, Master Father Muhammad, and they are bearing witness to the fact that our bodies are evolving. So we're going to look at that, and then I would love to hear your thoughts and ideas on where you think our bodies are headed in the direction of perfection. Biotechnology and medicine. This advances in cell biology have led to significant developments in biotechnology and medicine. Keep in mind, you all, this Caucasian has only been studying medicine for at least 120 years. That's it. They're still an infant in understanding how this body works. Allah has blessed them to come a long way with it in such a short period of time, but there's so much about this body they absolutely have no clue about. Techniques such as cloning, genetic engineering, and stem cell research are rooted in our understanding of cellular biology and have far reaching applications in healthcare and beyond. Environmental impacts. Cell biology also plays a role in understanding the impact of environmental factors such as pollution, toxins, on living organisms. Cellular responses to environmental stressors can help predict and mitigate their effects on the ecosystems and human health. So now you're talking about the environments that we live in, the environments that we grow up in. How is it taking a toll on our bodies? What is it doing to us psychologically? What is it doing to us on a cellular level that's causing our organs to malfunction, that's causing babies to be born with different type of deformities because of the impact of the environment that some of us live in? Drug development. The study of cellular processes is crucial for drug discovery and development. Researchers investigate how drugs interact with cells to develop effective treatments for various medical conditions. I love for us to take a glimpse into this area because I love showing you all how, one, the enemy of this world is not making medications to help us at all. And a lot of his medications that he has made causes us to have side effects or causes us to have negative responses to his medications. But not only that, it also shows how they research how our bodies work so that a product can be created that will help destroy the organism that we are. Even though we are indestructible, of course, being from the tribe of Shabazz, but they're still trying to destroy us, and they do this through research. So we're going to look at some of those case studies too, like the study of when they studied the cells of Henrietta Lacks. We get into that too. Biological research. Cell biology provides a foundation for other biological disciplines, including microbiology, genetics, physiology, and molecular biology. It serves as a bridge that connects different aspects of biology. Cell biology is essential for unraveling the mysteries of life, from the basic building blocks of organisms to the complexities of disease and adaptation. It forms the basis for numerous scientific and medical advances and contributes to our understanding of the natural world around us and the life processes that sustain it. Now, we're going to get into the structure of the cell. Cells, of course, as I've already stated, is the basic fundamental unit of life. It possesses a highly organized structure that enables it to carry out its vital functions. The functions of the cell is very critical and extremely important. There are two different types of cells. We don't even worry about the one that's dealing with bacteria. That's your prokaryotic cells. Those prokaryotic cells, don't worry about those. we are going to deal with the eukaryotic cells. That's who we are. So you'll find these type of cells under plants, animals. Of course, we fall under the category of animals, and understand that the difference between the two is that our cells have a nucleus versus bacterial cells does not have a nucleus. Our cells are composed of several fundamental components. Now, are just a few. This is the majority of them, most important, but there are more. So, our cell has a cell membrane, of course, has a nucleus, as I stated. It has ribosomes that are attached to the endoplasmic reticulum, which is an organelle. So all of these are organelles. Your nucleus is an organelle. Ribosomes are organelles. Rough endoplasmic reticulum is an organelle that actually includes the ribosomes. But there's also a portion that's called the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. The Golgi apparatus is a organelle of the cell. Mitochondria is an organelle of the cell. Lysosomes and perioxomes are also organelles of the cell that are very important. So what we're getting ready to go into now is the structure and function of these particular organelles. Your cell membrane. The structure of your cell membrane. The cell membrane has a phospholipid bilayer. So what that means is what you see right in front of you, you see the little green heads and the little squiggly lines in between. Those are that's called a phospholipid bilayer, because bi means two and you have two layers of it. You can see the circular green dot on one end and the circular green dot on the other end. That head of that phospholipid is what's called hydrophilic. And what that means is it's water friendly. So molecules and enzymes and substances in our blood or fluids in our body that are water friendly can get along with the hydrophilic area of the phospholipids. In between the phospholipid, where you see in between the phospholipid heads, where you now see the squiggly lines, which is the tails of the phospholipids, that area is called hydrophobic, meaning water repelling. That area is very friendly to lipids. Lipids are fats. So our lipids have fun in the middle of the phospholipid layers, but they cannot get past the head because the head is remember, hydrophilic, which means it attracts water, is water friendly. So in order for lipids, for fats, things of that nature to get inside of the phospholipid bilayer, it needs what's called a transporter to help transport it over into the phospholipid bilayer. We'll talk about that a little bit more, especially when we get into the digestive system, because that's very critical as it relates to the foods that we eat and how we actually digest them. Also, keep in mind, whenever you see a medical word, scientific word that starts off with hydro, that means something that's going to hydrate you. We're talking about water at that point. When you see something that says phobic, it ends in phobic, it means fearing. So the hydrophobic in some textbooks refer to hydrophobic as water fearing. Here I put water repelling because that's what it's doing. It's repelling the water. It's not afraid of it, it's repelling it. But in some books or other terminology, you will see water fearing. The cell membrane also it functions. This is how it functions. The cell membrane serves as a selective barrier that separates the cell's internal or interior for its external environment. Its functions includes regulation of molecular traffic. It just means it controls the passage of substances in and out of the cell, allowing some molecules to pass through while restricting others. So that's what I was just explaining as it relates to the water friendly versus lipid friendly, the fat friendly. So if it's a fat trying to get in, It needs a transporter. It needs some help. It needs a friend that is hydro friendly or hydrophilic to help get it across the barrier of the phospholipid so it can get into where it is now a welcoming environment for the lipid, which would be the hydrophobic area. Also, it contains receptors and proteins involved in cell signaling, allowing the cell to recognize and respond to signals from other cells. Our cells are very advanced. I mean, if you look at where this world is and you study the makeup and the design of the human body, you will see how Allah's mind, it's so far. I mean, it just really bears witness to how his mind is so far or so more advanced than this world, because as much as we see out here with whether it's AI, whether it's a computer, whether it's a device, whatever, it doesn't even make a difference. Whatever it is, airplanes that fly in the sky or spaceships or everything that we see that man has developed, they still don't understand how we function completely as an organism. So, as we're studying just the organelles, the basic unit of life, the beginning steps, you see how complex it is, which really bears witness to the greatness of Allah. The cell membrane also serves as a protection and structural support. The membrane provides structural support to the cell and helps protect its internal components. So the cellular membrane is what surrounds the organelles. The organelles are on the inside of the cellular membrane, and you all will see more images of that coming up. And you're also going to create a three-dimensional one. So you're really going to get your hands wet this week. Cell adhesion protects in the membrane. I'm sorry, proteins in the membrane are involved in cell to cell adhesion and cell to cell matrix interactions. It's pretty much holding our cell together and also controlling what gets in and what stays out. The cell nucleus. So, what you see in the image over to the left pretty much are chromosomes because our DNA is contained in the cell nucleus. The structure of the nucleus is enclosed by a double membrane called the nuclear envelope, which has pores for the exchange of materials. Inside the nucleus, you find chromatin, a complex of DNA and proteins, and a nucleus, which is involved in ribosome production. We'll talk about that a little bit more, what that looks like. Function. The nucleus is the control center of the cell responsible for genetic information storage. So it contains the cell's genetic material in the form of chromosomes, which carry instruction for protein synthesis. Synthesis means to create, and cell function. RNA synthesis is also present in the nucleus, is involved in the synthesis of ribosomal RNA and also messenger RNA, mRNA, which is essential for ribosome formation. So where you all see rRNA, also notate mRNA, which is messenger RNA. Cytoplasm. So the picture you all see right here at the bottom, the green one, that pretty much is like cutting into the cell. All the way in the center is where you see the nucleus and you see the organelles that surround it. The cytoplasm is the fluid that the organelles are going to sit in. So the cytoplasm with the picture up top is a little bit of what the actual cells look like, but it's the fluidity of your cell. So it's like the gel-like structure inside of the cell. You all will get your hands you'll get your hands on what that actually feels like this week in class. Cytoplasm is a semi-fluid gel-like substance that fills the interior of the cell, the eukaryotic cell, and it plays a crucial role in supporting a various cellular processes. While it doesn't have a distinct organelle-like structure, it serves as a medium in which organelles are suspended and where many essential cellular functions occur. Here are the structure and functions of the cytoplasm. Our cytoplasm is very important, you all. Very, very important. The cytoplasm consists of a clear semi-fluid portion known as cytosol. Now, it is composed primarily of water. Remember, the human body is 75% water. So the cell is going to be composed of the majority water. It also has ions, small molecules, and proteins. It provides a medium for the diffusion and movement of cellular components. Organelles, which are present within the cytoplasm, various membrane-bound organelles, such as the nucleus, the mitochondria, the endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, we're going to go in through each and every one of those, are suspended, meaning that they're almost like floating around in the cytoplasm. These organelles carry out specialized functions, often in coordination with one another. Our cells work as a unit. Many metabolic reactions take place in the cytoplasm. For example, glycolysis. The initial steps of glucose metabolism occur in the cytoplasm, leading to the production of ATP. ATP is as our energy. Remember, I explained to you all glucose is our sugar that's found in the blood. So glycolysis is the actual process in which glucose is being metabolized in our bodies, and the cytoplasm plays an important role in that because this process is going to take place within the cytoplasm. Protein synthesis takes place within the cytoplasm. Cell division takes place within the cytoplasm. And we're going to talk about cell division more so next week with meiosis and mitosis process and reproduction of our cells. The cytoplasm is a dynamic and essential component of eukaryotic cells. It serves as the stage for many biochemical reactions. It supports the structure of organelles, facilitates the movement of molecules, and plays a central role in cellular metabolism and communication. Protein synthesis, building and repairing cellular structures, regulating biological processes, and expressing specific characteristics of each organism. We need protein in order to function. Protein is so important, it's so vital to our bodies. Every system of the body that we go through, we will always discuss protein. The organelle endoplasmic reticulum, which is what you all see here in the picture, it is actually the light blue folds that's around the nucleus. And the ribosomes are the round red balls that you see on the endoplasmic reticulum, the blue folds. So the structure of the ER, endoplasmic reticulum, is shortened as ER, is a network of membranes that can be smooth or studded with ribosomes. So again, the ribosomes are the red balls. They're not everywhere, so where they are not, it will be considered smooth endoplasmic reticulum. The function of the rough ER is it is involved in protein synthesis. This is where our proteins are being made and processed. And the smooth portion, it participates in lipid, remember, means fats, metabolism, detoxification of drugs and toxins, and calcium ion storage. So again, as we get into the organs of the body and the systems of the body, and we start talking about organs like the liver, you'll find out how this endoplasmic reticulum and all of these organelles actually play a really key role in the functions in the overall function of our liver. Golgi apparatus. This organelle, the structure, consists of a flattened membrane sacs called cisternae. It kind of looks like the endoplasmic reticulum a little bit, and then it doesn't. The function of it, it receives, modifies, sorts, and packages proteins and lipids. So for the Golgi apparatus, is actually nicknamed the post office. of the cell because it functions like a post office. It actually divides up everything. It provides the structure. It's going to label what it is, and then it's also going to put on there where it's supposed to go. So it's going to transport it to its final destination, either within the cell or outside of the cell. So the Golgi apparatus, aka post office. Energy supply. To carry out vital functions and necessary metabolic processes essential for the proper functioning of the cell and or organism, the mitochondria powerhouse. Some books will call it the nickname power plant. Some will call it powerhouse. Just understand it is extremely powerful. This is where we get our energy from. The mitochondria organelle. Some cells have hundreds of mitochondria organelles in it because this is what's producing ATP, our energy source. The structure of mitochondria have a double membrane structure, an outer membrane and an inner membrane with folds called cystae. Inside, they contain a matrix. The function of the mitochondria, like I just said, is the powerhouse of the cell. It is involved in cellular respiration, is producing ATP for energy. They also play roles in regulating cells, growth, and cell death. We'll talk about that a little bit more and what that actually looks like. Cellular digestion. Yes, the cells within itself has its own digestive organism. It involves breaking down molecules and unwanted materials, enabling the recycling of nutrients and cellular maintenance. Our lysosomes. So our lysosomes are aka digestive system. They contain digestive enzymes that break down molecules and unwanted cellular materials. They facilitate cellular digestion by depositing or disposing of waste, recycling nutrients, and defending against pathogenic invasions. Our lysosomes are just the bomb. They absolutely do an amazing job. If they are functioning correctly, because we're feeding them right, they get a chance to actually be the purification, if you will, process of our cells. Peroxisomes. They contain enzymes that degrade hydrogen peroxide and toxic compounds, thereby protecting the cell from oxidative damages. Additionally, they play a role in the synthesis and degradation of lipids and bile acids, regulating lipid metabolisms and overall homeostasis. Do not panic because you probably don't know what all those words mean. We will break those words down. Trust me. You're going to see what degradation looks like. You're going to actually see what is oxidative. What is oxidation? What does that mean? So you will see it. Trust and believe. You're going to see some videos on it, and we're going to talk about the process of it a little bit more. And every time we cover a system of the body, we will constantly be talking about this information. So don't get nervous. Just go back and study these slides though, because you need to know all of this information. Not in detail, but summary. You need to know how all organelles function that has been covered in this video. You need to know what makes up our cells. So you need to know about the cellular membrane as well. You need to know what is the importance of our cell. Why do we have cells? So knowing these functions are key. Now, I'm going to say thank you because I know y'all took some good notes. And I know you're going to go back and either listen again or you're going to read the slides. So I'm thanking you in advance for being great students. And your homework tonight actually is to go back and review this information because we're going to talk about it more tomorrow. And I want you all to come with your questions. If it's something that you do not understand, please notate it so we can dive into it tomorrow. So you see, I put on here any questions because I want that on your mind. You all know I'm always asking, do you understand the information? And do you have anything to add on to it? I want to hear your creativity as well. So, inshallah, I will see you all in class tomorrow. Please go back and review the slides. The video and the slide is uploaded into Jupiter Ed. Assalamu alaikum.